Hello everyone, my name is Markix and welcome to another Warmane video. I'm on holiday right now, so I don't have my setup, I don't have my computer, so I've decided to make a question and answer video. The reason for this is I receive lots of repeated questions from people, and every time I answer the question, another person asks the same thing again in a future video or in one of my live streams. So for some of the most commonly asked questions, this is where you'll find the answer. I should also mention that because I'm on holiday, the sound is not as good as it usually is. Cars like to drive by exactly when I'm recording videos. So let's not waste any time and let's get right into the video. What realm and what server do I play on? I primarily play on Warmane, and I play specifically on the Ice Crown realm. Ice Crown is kind of everyone's max gear, basically. If you're just starting out, I suggest looking at the Frostmourne server so that you have an easier time becoming raid ready. Another request I've received many times is for 1v1s or rotations or arena matchup videos. I release the solo queue commentary video, and videos like that are my way of trying to deal with that question. So rather than making a long list of all the different matchups, I instead make individual videos about different arenas I've found, different matchups. And this deals with 2 and maybe even 3 problems. The first one is, how do you deal with certain classes? If I meet a warlock in an arena, I might talk about what I do against that warlock. If I meet a feral druid, how to deal with a feral druid. I also will talk about rotations, because that's part of the arena. So that's my objective when dealing with that video, because I know my guides do very well, they get a lot of views. It's quite time consuming, and maybe I'll make a video like that, but until I can justify putting more time in videos, right now that's just how I'm going to do things. Rotation in Arms Warrior is quite basic, but there's a lot of variation in it. Rend and Mortal Strike up on your kill target. Mortal Strike is vital because it has healing reduction. If your target doesn't have Mortal Strike in arenas, they will not die. I know in some videos I've seen a target die without Mortal Strike, but you don't really want to count on that. You want Mortal Strike, it adds much more pressure. 50% healing reduction is really a big deal. Rend is needed to proc Overpower, but it's also a bleed, so it's a damage over time effect. If you play, for example, with an Affliction Warlock or an Unholy Death Knight, spreading around all those damage over time effects really add a lot of pressure and make it very difficult for the enemy healer to heal up that damage. So depending on the class you're dealing with, you might want to use Mortal Strike or Rend first, but it's always going to be Rend and Mortal Strike in particular. You also want to keep your target slow, so for example an enemy warrior, you want to use Piercing Howl or Hamstring on them. So I hope that helps to answer your question. Another comment I've received a lot is asking about how I have the model changes that I have. Not just the Warlords of Adrenal models, but in particular why my Ravenlord looks different and why my Shadowmourne looks like Frostmourne. Some people think it's an add-on, it's not, and it's also not a transmog. This is actually an MPQ file. This is a texture modification or a model swap. Basically what you can do is you can go on the website Owned Core, and I'll leave links in the video description. You can download these files for different model changes. So you can say, for example, make your Invincible's reins look like the Deadly Gladiator's Frostworm, as an example. Or you can make human characters look like orcs. These are all local changes though, so only you will see them. Since we're at this point in the conversation, I should mention that someone has also asked me how I get the Warlords of Adrenal models for Wrath of the Lich King. What you need to do is you need to go on Warmane's website, so that's www.warmane.com. Click on download and you'll have the option to select different expansions. Click on Wrath of the Lich King. There is one called Wrath of the Lich King Old, and that does not include the Warlords of Adrenal models. You select Wrath of the Lich King, then you click on Windows or macOS, depending on what operating system you use. And that's it. You download, and it's already set up to play on Warmane, and that's it. It's set up. You're ready to play on Warmane. If you play on another server, then you need to change the realm list. Other people have also asked me if I can make videos in Spanish or use closed captions to create Spanish subtitles. Hermanos, Perdóname, pero no hablo muy bien en español. Unas, dos, tres palabras. No soy bastante bien en esta lengua por poder hacer un vídeo en español. No es posible en este momento. Puede ser que un día que yo ir a una escuela para mejorar mi español, pero en este momento no, perdóname. Espero que entiendes lo que digo. Gracias por el soporte, pero como que dicedo, no sé. Es correcto, no sé. Other people have been asking me why I faction changed. I have 2 best in slot warriors, and so the reason for faction changing one of them is so that I can play with more people. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with this warrior. I'm also not exactly sure what I'm going to do about guilds just yet. Another comment I've received regards add-ons. I made my add-on video, but if there's an add-on that you don't see on that video, and you want to find more add-ons specifically for 3.3.5a, then I strongly suggest going on the Warmane Forums. There's a section about add-ons that work with this patch, and all of the add-ons there have been tested and they work with patch 3.3.5a. That is there. I'll leave a link to it in the video description so you can check it out and you can download them for yourself. And that's pretty much it. I expect sometime by the end of next week I'll be back, or maybe just a few days later. Regular content will be back sometime in the next 1 to 2 weeks, but until then I hope you have a lovely holiday. I hope you're having a lovely time during the summer. Get some well-deserved rest and yeah, I'll see you later. Goodbye.